Welcome back, Arcadians. Alex here from Nintendo Arcade. From the outside, looking in, it's absolutely freezing out here. It's been the coldest 3 weeks in many a decade, actually. Poor old pond's frozen over. And we've had blizzards. We've had so much snow, it's been unbelievable. And the old River Thames actually has been freezing over. That's a first in my lifetime. So let's get inside, guys. I've got some really cool stuff to show you this week. Some new arcade pickups, some nice little console bits and bobs. And it's nice and warm in here as well. Oh, it's so warm. And look, we've got more Sega. Should I change my name, guys? Not in a million years. Not in a million years. It's nice to have a mixture in here, though. It really is. And I never thought, actually, I'd be able to get a Super Hang-On. This is unbelievable, having this in the arcade. Roger Cantor, huge thanks to you for putting this off for me. And, of course, Phil, Jodo. Without you two guys, this wouldn't even be here. So I'm really chuffed to have this in the collection. And I've got to thank Martin as well for lending me the Hang-On for that certain amount of time, because it gave me the opportunity really to see if I liked the game. And I did. I loved Hang-On. It was brilliant. But this is just a few notches up. It's got that little bit more to it, the rolling hills and the turbo button, which gives you that little bit more risk reward in the game, I think. It's a lot more exhilarating. It's a little bit faster, I think, the game. And for me, it's great having this in the arcade, because, you know, my dad's a motorcycle enthusiast. I was for a few years. I had bikes. So it's you know, it's the right thing to have a bike game in the arcade, and this has got to be one of the best, doesn't it? Such a cool game. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but I've got some cool stuff to show you this week, guys. Got a new Jammer cab over there as well. I'm going to show you. Zookeeper, I've been playing a lot. Managed to get 500,000 in Zookeeper not that long ago, but I've been watching Dell's Arcade, or Delusion's Arcade. He's been putting up some really cool live streams of his gameplay of Zookeeper, and he managed to get 3 million, which is an unbelievable score, Dell. Congratulations on reaching that, because I know you've been after that 3 million for quite a while. He's actually good friends with John Jacobson from John's Arcade, and his plan is to go round to his place and knock the top score off John's Zookeeper. So I hope you do that, mate. You certainly deserve it, because you've been playing it so much. I'm definitely going to get a few tips off you. I think my gameplay is definitely improving, but obviously I need to put a bit more time into it. And of course, this is Nintendo Arcade, and there is plans to get a Donkey Kong in here. Once Astro Blaster is out of the way, that's going to the arcade club. The plan is to get a DK in here and run 3 board sets in that cabinet. DK Junior, DK3, Donkey Kong, and then in Popeye, I want to get, in Sky Skipper, I want to get a Popeye board in there as well. So I'll be running 6 Nintendo games in this arcade. So they will dominate once I get the Donkey Kong. And that'd be great to play Popeye and Sky Skipper as well as the others. So yeah, the lineup's looking pretty cool now, actually. I'm really pleased with it. Robotron, my partner, she still loves coming down here and playing a bit of Robotron. Such a cool lineup, guys, isn't it? And then, of course, down this side, I've got a new Jammer cab. Look at this. So this is an Electrocoin MIDI. These cabinets were made in London. They're a London-based company. They made the Goliaths, they made the Spectrums, the Xenons, and they made this MIDI, which is the smallest of their lineup. And it's the one I actually prefer. I do like the Goliaths. They're really, really cool. In fact, a Goliath actually is really cool, because you can rotate the monitor from the front of the cab. But I love this. I love the angle of the monitor a lot better. It suits us tall people, I think. And that's the trouble with the Video Masters. You can see they're not the prettiest of couples together, are they? I think I need to separate them. It's like the ugly bitch girlfriend, isn't it? The Video Master. She just doesn't look great, does she? But, you know, the Video Master is cool on its own. It's a cool cabinet. It's great access. You can get through the front control panel and change the PCBs over a lot easier than the MIDI. But I much prefer the MIDI, because you can treat the MIDI almost like a dedicated cabinet. You can change the marquee over to whatever game you're playing. So at the moment I'm playing Jackal which is the game that came with the MIDI. A game I never played before, didn't know anything about it. It's by Konami, it's a Konami game. I think it came out in 1986. It's a fantastic game. Been playing that a lot. And what I'm gonna do with that game, I'm gonna do like an arcade to console video next week, hopefully. But the monitor in this cabinet is unbelievable. This was on eBay for 175 quid, not working. And I thought, you know what, the cab looks pretty solid. So I pushed a button on it, picked it up. I gave it to my friend Mark Whiting, who fixed the monitor. The game was working fine, and the monitor turned out really, really nice. And the game, just having that game there, it's the Japanese ROM set of Jackal in there. It's a great game. Plays a little bit like Commando, but you've got to be a little bit more methodical about your gameplay, because you're not pushed up the screen. You can take it at your own pace, which is what I like. And it's a great little two-player game as well. So a really underrated game, I think, Jackal. Really chuffed to have that in the collection. And as I said, I'm going to treat this cabinet like a dedicated cabinet. Just swap a PCB over maybe once a month and change the marquee over, and that's going to stay in the collection, and get rid of the video mask now. Hopefully either put Asteroids Deluxe in its place, or yeah, I really do want a Deluxe. I would like a Vector in here, and I can just rotate the monitor in that MIDI as and when I want to. It would be cool actually to get another MIDI in here, have a horizontal and vertical, but I'm running out of space now, guys. The Stargate eventually is going to have to go too, because I want to get a full-size upright Defender down here. So in this space here, that door's going to get blocked off. Robichon full-size Defender in there eventually. But yeah, got loads of cool stuff to show you guys this week. I've been playing a little bit of Trigon on the Switch, or is it Lightning Fighters? I think the European version of that. Really cool vertical shooter. I've got my PC Engine set up, and because I've been picking up a few PC Engine games. I've been playing a bit of Gradius. That's so much better than the NES version. It's so much better. I've been playing the NES version and the Versus version of Gradius for such a long time, and this beats it hand down. Definitely, it runs faster. It's definitely got more to it. I know people probably a little bit more nostalgic about the NES version, but the PC Engine version does play so much more better. That's a great little monitor, by the way. That Sony Trinitron 14-inch, can't recommend it enough, guys. The picture on that is perfect. And on the 21-inch, I'm playing a bit of Run Saber on the Super Nintendo. Underrated platform action game, a little bit like Strider, sort of Nintendo's version of Strider. And then over here, we've got the Vectrex up. I've got some new overlays I'm going to show you. We'll maybe do a little gameplay of one of my Vectrex games. So you've got the overlay for Defender. So I'm playing Protector on the Vectrex. And I've got all these lovely pickups to show you. Famicom, PC Engine, and whatnot. And I've got some Super Nintendo games I'm going to show you. But I'm going to bring back the old Super Nintendo videos this month. So hopefully look out for that, guys. So let's sit ourselves down and get through all these pickups, and I've got a few shout outs to make as well. Right, cheers guys, and thanks for tuning in as always. Now, I've got a few shout outs before we get into the old pickups and what I've been up to. First, a massive congratulations to Scot, Sega Zombie, for winning YouTuber of the Year. I know it's a couple of weeks ago now, but I haven't uploaded a video for a few weeks, so congratulations, Scott, on winning YouTuber of the Year. I'll put a link into Scott's channel below. I mean, Scott is such a great guy. Of course, I did a game room tour of Scott's place. He's into Sega, so, you know, naturally got that kind of rivalry, that banter that's going on between us, which I absolutely love. And he's such an enthusiastic and passionate collector. He makes for a great watch on his channel, really does. He's trying to go for a complete PAL Mega Drive collection, which is interesting to see. So Scott, well done for that, mate. Congratulations on winning YouTuber of the Year. Also got to thank Dana, or Dainster as his YouTube channel is known. I'll put a link in the video below. I did a stream with him last week, which was quite fun because I got quite drunk towards the end of it. No, I'm not going to go on about the word, Frank Bruno and Mark Coleman. Do you ever remember that, guys? Do you ever remember that episode? Remember that rumour that was going around school about Mark Coleman? Well, if you ever watched The Word back in the early 90s, it was such a cool programme. You used to get back from the pub, really drunk, raid the cupboards, which were pretty much always bare, for some food, sit down and watch The Word when you were half cut, and then you'd watch Get Stuff straight after, which was kind of like a little food programme where you just knock up a load of crap that was in your cupboard. It was great watch, great TV. And you had bands like Nirvana. I never forget Nirvana coming on the programme and literally just smashing up everything. It was unbelievable. But they had also Terry Christian was interviewing Mark Coleman and Frank Bruno, and this rumour question was brought up, and it just made me laugh. It always has done ever since. But if you remember it, you know what I'm on about. But if you haven't, go and watch Dana's stream that I did with him. Great channel, Dana, by the way. Fucking brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Also got to say congratulations to Retro Chef Lee. Well done for winning YouTuber of the Month, mate. You thoroughly deserve it. And I actually was on Lee's channel last week. He does like a live stream retro kind of swap shop. People come on, YouTubers come on, and they bring their wares on to swap or exchange for money, whatever you want to do. And I did some good deals actually on your channel, so I really appreciate it, Lee. Great series you've set up there, mate. You've really found your feet with that. Really cool. So some of those pickers I'm going to showcase to you in this video today, which we'll get into in a little bit. Also want to say hi to Elliot. Elliot, he's always watching and has done for a long time. Elliot, thanks for watching the channel, mate. Really appreciate it. Elliot is Brian's son, Beeps. He comes to all the events. Real good lad, real good lad. So Elliot, I really appreciate you watching the channel for all this time. Also Matthew Poulter is a lovely guy, and he's wanting to ask me a few questions for the channel. How did I get into video games? Was one of his questions. I got into video games like probably most kids being brought up in the 70s was through the arcades, because we didn't have consoles back then. So I was born in 1971. I'll be 50 this year. 50, unbelievable. But I don't see myself as a 70s kid. I see myself as an 80s kid, because by the time the 80s come round, I was 10, you know, in 1981, and I became an actual consumer of the 80s culture, which is a big difference when you're growing up in it. So I grew up in the 70s, and we were given presents like the Evel Knievel motorcycle, which was probably the best present I ever had. You know, you had Mousetrap, Scale Electric, and all those kind of stuff. But it was, okay, we picked the presents, but it's not until you get your own pocket money and you're doing a paper round and you're listening to music, you start really getting into music, and you're buying into the whole pop culture of the 80s. You become part of it as a kid. So I see myself as an 80s kid, a teenage kid growing up in the 80s, and I'll tell you, it was the best time ever. It really was. You know, people say the 60s was great. 60s was, because there was lots of new things happening in the 60s, but the 80s, you still had bands from the 60s around in the 80s making music. Now you get the Who and Led Zeppelin around in the 80s, Deep Purple, you know, Van Halen and all those kind of stuff in the 80s, mixing in with the new romantic stuff, and it was a real mixture of genres in the 80s. A fabulous time to grow up. And of course, for us that are into this hobby, video games was all new. It was fresh. Games were coming out continuously in the arcade, and it was just a great place to be. It really was, growing up in the 80s. And the things what got me into gaming was obviously Space Invaders. That game literally landed on planet Earth and was like, wow, what the hell is this? It was almost like a spaceship that had landed. We didn't know what to make of it. It was so cool. So yeah, Space Invaders has a lot to answer for, really. For me, I mean, that's why I've got it in the collection. Such a fabulous game. Then of course, I got a Spectrum 48K, although my mate had a ZX81 for a while, and I remember going around to his quite a lot. So my first experiences were on a ZX81, then I got a 48K, and then of course we had BBC Micros at school, hence why I have a BBC Micro here. A lot of nostalgia with that system. So for me, yeah, the home computers was BBC Micro and Sinclair Spectrum, and then I became a consumer of gaming and collecting games. So I've been collecting since 1982. I've still got my original Sinclair Spectrum games somewhere, and I haven't stopped. You drift out of it, you know, when you're sort of late teens, early 20s, you know, you get into girls and other things, bikes, and I got into karate and all sorts of stuff. But the hobby's always been there in the background, just not as seriously as I take it today. But I love the hobby today. The hobby's amazing. It's such a great community of people, and it's ever changing. I mean, my games room's ever changing. This is what I love about the hobby. New games coming in, other games going out, but I really do feel that I'm quite satisfied with my arcade collection and the way it's going, the direction it's going. I really do feel like I'm on a right track, a right road to where I want the collection to be. And the console collection, well, I feel like I haven't even started there again, because I had to sell quite a lot for various reasons. Obviously, me breaking my arm, I've had no income now for nearly a year, so stuff has to go, unfortunately. I've held on to a lot of the good stuff, the rare stuff, and still have a substantial Super Nintendo collection, which I will showcase in a Super Nintendo video, but I feel like I need to get it all back. A lot of Famicom stuff, and new collections as well, like the PC Engine I'm really enjoying collecting for. But yeah, I plan to this year, once I'm back working, and hopefully in a few weeks time. You know, the arm's really good now, starting to feel a lot stronger, but I need to do some weights, get some more physio on it before I can go back to work. But hopefully in like a month, 2 months time, when I'm back to work, the collection will start, more videos will appear in, because more pickups will be coming my way. And then at some point I've got to get all these machines out of here, and I'm itching, guys. I'm like a rubber band wound right up, ready to explode, doing this games room up. I just can't wait. I've got all the plans in my head. So yeah, loads to look forward to on the channel. But going back, and I have digressed, Matthew, from your question, which was how did I get into video games? That is how I got into video games. And when you get off on video games, I can't stop. I can't stop talking. There was another question that you asked. A wish list of features you'd like to see on the new Switch. I'd like to see better Joy-Cons. They've got to sort the Joy-Con drift out, because that is an absolute nightmare, and they haven't come to terms with it. You know, Xbox had the ring of death. They came to terms with it. You know, they sent people new things out and they sorted it out. They updated the system. But, I mean, they haven't sorted it out. I mean, the Switch Lite, if you get drift problems on that, you're absolutely knackered. You know, you can't just change the Joy-Cons, and they're not cheap, are they? But on the little one, on the Lite, there's nothing you can do. They say they've fixed it, fine, but they need to sort it out, you know. And I hope they will. That's one feature I would like to be sorted out on the Switch. The other is obviously live chat. Wish we could talk to each other. Look, I could have a Nintendo Arcade Meet, you know, challenge on Nintendo Switch. Would be great. We could all be chatting to each other. But it's just not happening, is it? So then two, well, one's an upgrade and one's an actual feature. And I'd also like to see the dock made a little bit better. The dock just ugly. I think they should make it different. I don't know. They need to change that. And obviously a HD version, a proper HD 4K Pro would be absolutely awesome. Yeah, that would be really cool. So yeah, that's it, Matthew. Thank you so much for those questions, and I always appreciate anyone that sends questions my way. And if you want to, you can either message me on my Facebook page, which is nintendoarcade, or you can message me, email me at nintendoarcade@yahoo.com. I think it is. I'll put a link in the video below so you can message me if you want to. But other than that, guys, that's it. Let's get into the pickups, because I want to fit this gameplay of Super Hang-On in as well. So let's let's cut to the pickups now. Right, so pickups, guys. Been quite an interesting few weeks, I have to say, because I've fallen back in love with the Famicom and plan to expand that whole collection this year to well over 100, maybe 200 games for the Famicom, because there are some fantastic ones. But I might mix it in with a few exclusives for the different regions, and I have done as well. But it is the box art for the Famicom that you fall in love with, isn't it? I mean, such cool box art. So the first game I picked up is Terra Cresta, which is a fabulous arcade game. If you've never played this, guys, it's such a cool arcade game. It really is. And look at the box art on that. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Okay, I've got to get that price sticker off the front cover there, but it is a beautiful box art. Had to go with the Japanese ones. Got some nice screenshots on the back there, and the condition, the overall condition of this game is absolutely super. So I paid around about £50 for this, which is not bad, not bad. I've seen a lot worse. It is complete. I mean, look at that. Occasionally you do get a bit of yellowing with this plastic inlay here that holds the carts in, but honestly, the condition of this is unbelievable. Look at the leaflets inside, not a crease to be seen. Lovely little instruction manual, which almost looks brand new. So really chuffed to have this. Lovely little inlay manual there, look at that. And a fabulous game on the Famicom. I'd also like to get the PC Engine version of this game, but I do know it goes for quite a lot of money. But happy to get this. You also get this in there, which is actually a sticker. It's got a Crazy Climber and Terra Cresta advertisement sticker by Nishibitsu, who made this game. Isn't that cool? Just don't get stuff. Well, you do get stuff like that now. If you go to these limited run people, they do lovely box Switch games, but it is nice to see, isn't it, on a retro game like this, all complete. Really chuffed to get that for the Famicom. Such a great game, Terra Cresta. We might do a little gameplay of that, or one of these. Hector 87, which I did have a US copy of, which I sold, and I thought I'd go for the Famicom version this time, because I do like the box cover of this again. Fabulous box art, look at that, guys. Really cool sort of 80s sci-fi kind of art style. Really nice. And again, I can't remember, oh, this was a bundle, which I'll let you know how much I've paid for in a bit. So this has got a blue cart. And by the way, this is a vertical shooter, a really cool vertical shooter. If you haven't played Hector 87, it's one of the best on the Famicom, and quite reasonably priced. You can pick this up quite reasonably. Lovely little manual there. Again, no marks on that manual whatsoever. Just nice. Just nice. Love looking through these little manuals. You can imagine a little Japanese kid picking this up back in the day, like we would with the old Spectrum games, playing it through. So nice to see. Really, really pleased with that. Again, the Famicom's such a lovely little system to collect for. There's some real obscurities on the Famicom that not a lot of people know about. And I'm only buying box games for the Famicom. So that came with a bundle, a free game bundle. God, you know, I remember the name of this game before I started the video. Now I've forgotten about it. It is an actual arcade game. I can't remember what it's called now. Ninja something. But it's a cool, it's not brilliant, it's an average game. It's a platform ninja game where you're knocking other ninjas off the screen to reach the top of the mountain, the top of the screen. It is really cool, but unfortunately, mine's got a piece cut out the back, which I didn't realise in the pictures. Going back looking at the pictures, I can see it, but there's nothing in the description about it, which I'm a little bit annoyed about. But I got this bundle, I think it was for 80 quid, which is not bad. So that's Hector 87, this game, which is a cool little ninja game, but I can't remember what the last thing was called now, off the top of my head. And I also got Spartan X, as it's known in Japan, or Kung Fu Master. I think this cover's brilliant. Isn't that cool? Great cover. I mean, I do like the Black Label Kung Fu Master, because I would like to collect a full collection of Black Label NES games. But for the cover art of that, I had to get it. So for 80 quid, I got these 3 games, which actually I thought wasn't that bad. And that was from an English seller. I thought that was really, really cool. Next game up is Stargate for the Famicom, and I think Stargate on the NES, on the Famicom, is a fantastic conversion. It really is. So if you're going for the North American region of this game, it would be Defender 2, but in Japan it came out as Stargate, the proper name for the sequel to Defender, and it's brilliant. And you know how much of a Defender fan I am. I had to get this for the Famicom. Again, lovely condition, lovely little manual, and I love playing this, and it plays all right on the D-pad. You know, you can't go wrong with it, really. It's really cool, really, really cool. I mean, obviously Stargate is a lot harder than Defender, and if you haven't mastered Defender, you really shouldn't try Stargate, because it is harder. But on the console variant, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. There's not a lot in it, to be honest with you. But so chuffed to get that for the Famicom. Really, really nice. So yeah, some really cool Famicom games, which I absolutely adore collecting for. The box art, I mean, it's just the box art, and the game itself is cool. I'm not going to buy everything, but the really cool games I like. I also got a copy of Jackal, which is awesome. And I've got to do arcade to console, haven't I? This is North American only. Look at that. Look at that box art. Isn't that cool? And guys, it is a cool game. It is a cool game. The arcade game I've absolutely fallen in love with. Never thought I would fall in love with this game. Well, I didn't know anything about it, so I didn't really know, but it is such a cool game. I haven't played much. Well, I haven't played anything of this yet, really. I've just been playing the arcade version, so I can't wait for the video next week. Arcade to console, we'll do definitely a comparison video on that, which is cool. Next up, I got Snake Rattle and Roll. Next up, I've got Snake Rattle and Roll. This is a really cool sort of isometric platforming game. I've played a little bit of, very unusual. I still haven't worked out the game mechanics of it, because there's lots of creatures in there. I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do, but the music's lovely. It's really cute graphics, and I think it's a well implemented game. I think there's a lot there, and the reviews I've seen on this all say it's an excellent game, so I can't wait to play that. So next up, guys, is my PC Engine pickups. So Roger Cantor, you'll be pleased with this, and actually there's a few others. Tootie, you'd like these. There's a few PC Engine collectors out there. So I did a good little deal with this, actually. This was on, let's show you the ones I've got on, this was done on the stream on Retro Chef's channel. So I got, how many games did I get? 4, was it, or 5? Oh yeah, that was it. So 5 games. So I swapped 2 Nintendo Switch games for this bundle of PC Engine games. So I swapped Sisters Royale, that limited run box set. That was basically a bullet hell type game on a Nintendo Switch. I've come to terms with I actually don't like bullet hells at all. just not my thing. I really don't. I just don't like looking at a load of bullets on the screen, all different colours. Can't see my ship. I can't see what's going on. I don't really like the music. It hasn't got a very futuristic feel about it. When I play a shoot 'em up, I want some kind of futuristic kind of atmosphere that draws you into that kind of, not just the game, but the whole world that is around. I don't know, with these modern shooters, I just can't get into. I can't explain it very well. I just don't like them. So I sold that, and I sold a copy of Esterad, is it? That cave game for the Switch. Again, another bullet hell shooter. Not my cup of tea. Really not at all. For some classic shooters, Konami's greatest, Gradius. And this is a fantastic version on the PC Engine. I've been playing Gradius for many years. Of course, you can't beat the arcade version. But, you know, if you haven't got the PCB, which is worth over £1,000, you have to make do with console versions. And I have been playing the NES version for years and the Nintendo Versus version for years, which I had on the red tent, which was hard work. With those old Nintendo buttons, playing a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up is hard work. So really nice to have this on the PC Engine, and it plays absolutely amazing. I've actually been playing Gradius 3 on the Super Nintendo as well. I forgot to mention earlier, because my good friend Paul Buller lent me his EverDrive, and it's got hacked versions of Gradius 3, which I've never played before. So Gradius 3 without the slowdown on the Super Nintendo is way better than the arcade version, I can tell you that now. It just plays much better. It's a little bit easier. I mean, the arcade version is rock hard. So the Super Nintendo version of Gradius 3, hacked with no slowdown, is an absolute joy to play. It is one of the best games. It is unbelievable. I just wish it came out back in the day like that, you know, with no slowdown. But yeah, this is cool to get. I love Gradius. I love the whole series of Gradius. Ordyne, fantastic little cutie, side-scrolling, side-scrolling, horizontal shooter. Such a cute game. I love the music to this game. I love the fact you can go into the shop and get all the pickups. I just love it. It's such a cool game. Look at the box art on that. Again, I'd love to get the arcade PCB of that game. Gunhead. Gunhead. I had to get this. And when I saw it in, it's Big Al is the guy I did the swap with. And thanks, Al, for this, mate. Honestly. I never thought I'd own this, actually. It's quite an expensive game. Not one of the expensive games. It is an expensive game for the PC Engine. It plays like a dream. Quite easy on the normal mode, but I think I need to go back and do caravan mode. I think that's where it's at. I think that's where all the players are playing this game, in caravan mode. I know my good friend Roger plays it in caravan mode. So yeah, it's such a cool game. Really chuffed to have this. Oops, there it goes. Yeah, love this game. So I'm building up a nice little PC Engine collection. I haven't got loads, but I've got a few nice ones. Next up is Dragon Spirit. I think my only experience of playing this game is on the NES, which is not a bad conversion of the arcade one, but this is definitely better. Definitely better. Again, it is a great little vertical shooter. Really cool game. And this is, well, I think it's just, it's Tiger something, or maybe it's just Tiger. Correct me if I'm wrong. Only what I've played this so far, I'm loving it. It's brilliant. It's just the right pace for me for a shooter. Loads of explosions. It's moving up the field quite quickly, and it keeps you interested. Really cool shooter. And look at that box art again. Absolutely fabulous. Really, really cool. So that was my little bundle I've got there with Big Al on the SWAT shop. And also picked up Final Soldier on the PC Engine. I haven't played that much of recently, but it is one of those shooters on the PC Engine you must own. Really, really cool game. So yeah, there's all my PC Engine games. Really chuffed to building up a little PC Engine collection. Hopefully that expands throughout the year. I've also got some Vectrex overlays. I can't remember who I got these from now, but the one that you see on there now is the Defender one. Maybe I'll do a close-up of that, which is really cool. Obviously, that's one of my favourite games, so it's nice to have an overlay of that. I've got Yahtzee, which is obviously Space Invaders. It's a really nice overlay. If you haven't played Space Invaders Yahtzee on the Vectrex, it's unbelievable how they do it. It looks like pixel art instead of vector graphics. I picked up a lovely Thrust overlay, which is really nice. I do like Thrust. I used to love playing Thrust on the Sinclair Spectrum, but actually playing it with vector graphics makes all the difference. It really does. So that's really nice to have that Vectrex overlay. I'm trying to remember who I bought these off now. This is Hero Primera overlay, which is another one of my favourite Vectrex games. Nice overlay for that game. And I got, oh, this is a nice one. I mean, a lot of the overlays are quite bland, quite boring, so I've just got the ones that are quite colourful, that add a little bit more to the game. And pinball's an actual game I do quite like playing on the Vectrex. If you can see the colours there. But really nice overlay for pinball. Really nice. I don't know if you can see that very well. But yeah, really chuffed with that. And that's it. So yeah, really cool. I'll just show you a couple of these overlays on the Vectrex. So here we've got the Defender overlay for the game Protector, which is a Defender clone. You can actually get the same overlay, the same art decal, but with Protector at the bottom, which is what the game is, as you can see on the title screen. It just adds a nice little bit of arcade or fantasy to playing this on the Vectrex. I love this game. Anything to do with Defender now. Oh, such a cool game, it really is. I would so much love to have a dedicated controller for this, because when you've been playing the arcade version as much as I have, the button layouts are completely different, so it takes a while to get used to. But yeah, I do love this game. If you haven't got this game, guys, on the Vectrex, it plays so well. Oh, I'm going to get carried away now. I should be showing you all the other overlays. I'm going to get carried away playing this. Yes, wave 2 finished. I might as well just play through. I'm not going to get that far after this level. It is a lot harder than the arcade version. I think just purely because it's A, it's vertical and it should be horizontal, the screen, and B, it's just the controls. You need that button layout. You know, it takes such a long time to get used to. So that's the Defender overlay. So next up we've got pinball. I should have taken the UV light off actually, because you can actually see it a lot better. Look at the colours, guys. Doesn't that make a difference? How do I? I've got how you play this now. Right, that's left and right, and that's fine. There we go. Lovely little pinball game. It's cute, isn't it? So this is, well, the overlay says Spinball. The original game released for the Vectrex is actually called, what's it called? Flipper Pinball. So it makes me wonder whether there is another version of this game. I certainly don't have it on my Vect Fever cart. But there you go. It just adds another little dimension to the game. And, you know, most of the fun is putting these overlays on the Vectrex. Half the fun, just changing them around, you know. It's almost like changing the marquee on an old jammer cab to put your dedicated game in. It's just a nice thing to add for the Vectrex. Right, so next up, guys, we've got the Hero Primera overlay, which is basically a Juno first conversion to the Vectrex. Fabulous game. You may have seen I did a video on this, an arcade to console video on this. If you haven't, go and check it out because the gameplay is absolutely awesome. And this overlay, it really does make this game. The colours just remind me of the arcade game Juno first so much. So cool. Zoom in a little bit. Sorry about the reflection from the window there. But yeah, absolutely fabulous game. It's a little bit like, remember Beam Rider? I haven't played Beam Rider, but everyone tells me it's very similar to Beam Rider in the Atari. It's a really fast-paced, very smooth vertical shooter. You can actually reverse backwards. The only thing which is missing from the arcade version is the warp button. Would have been nice to have had a warp button in this game, this version of it. But yeah, the overlay for this is really nice. You pick up the little man and you get bonuses. You double your score, you pick the man up. But yeah, that is Hero Primera. Really nice game. So next up we've got Thrust. Really cool game. We've got to pick up the, I think it's the fuel pods. Take them right out into space. And it's all about the inertia in Thrust, isn't it? Like a lot of these games, Asteroids and Gravatar. It's just getting used to that inertia. The gravity pull, pulling you down. And you're fighting against it constantly. See if I can pick that up. Grabbed it. Now I'm pulling this up. It's gonna, the forces of that, the weight of that are gonna pull me from side to side. Just as you get used to the ship's inertia, you've got to get used to carrying this up the screen. Didn't quite make it, but it starts you off at the top. That's so heavy. There you go. Mission 2 finished. Let's try and keep mission 3. Last life, I think. That was unfair. There you go, you get the gist of it. Fantastic game. Let's just see what it's like with the UV lights. You can't really see the thrust. Yeah, that's quite cool. Actually lit up like that. Let's try it again. Yeah, that looks nice. You can actually see the thrust logo there. So I've got the UV light and frame. You know, when you've got a nicely lit games room, these really do stand out, the Vectrexes. So there you go, that's Thrust. Right, so my next overlay is Yahtzee, which is basically a Space Invaders conversion to the Vectrex, and it looks amazing on the Vectrex. It doesn't look like vector graphics. They look like sprites, little pixel art. So well made, so well produced and put together, this whole package. And it's on the same cart as Protector, which you can buy. You can buy both of these games and it comes on one cart. Now let's just see what it's like without the UV light on, where you just get the colour. You can't really see. I suppose in the daylight, if you had the lights on, you'd be able to see the surround, the bezel. But for the sake of the video, I'll put the UV light on. So number 2, let's get the settings right. Alex Herbert, one to play. There you go. As you can see what I mean, they don't look like vectors at all, do they? Oh. And, you know, again, having that overlay just adds to the game, the whole experience. There you go, that's Space Invaders. Right, so here we go, guys. Going to finish up on Super Hang-On, my latest arcade pickup. And like I said, I'm really chuffed to have this in the collection. Thanks to Roger and Phil for making this happen. I was quite surprised actually how small it is height-wise. Probably about 8 inches smaller than a hang-on cabinet. And it's quite nice actually, so I can hang some artwork when I've finished in the games room behind this, which is pretty cool. As you can see, the plastic cowling is yellowed. I think a lot of them tend to do this over time. But I do plan to respray this white. I know my good friend Gav's done his. It looks absolutely amazing. Bit of a job though, got to get all those stickers off, get repros and put them back on. But I think spraying it white is definitely the way to go, because that yellow does look pretty horrible. Other than that, the monitor is crisp as anything. Beautiful monitor. Really, really nice. That noise you can hear in the back is the fan. It's got a fan going to cool the PCBs down. And also with Super Hang-On, it's got vibration on the handlebars here. Just gives you that little bit more kind of authenticity about riding a motorbike, I guess. It's missing the bulb though. Phil did say there wasn't enough room to put a bulb in here, but all the Super Hang-Ons I've seen do have the rev counter lit up, so I'll have to look into that. And on the turbo button down here, which is a nice addition to the original Hang-On. It certainly makes the game a little bit more exhilarating and definitely gives you more of a risk reward element on the straight runs with the bends coming up, you know, when to come off. I think it's a fantastic game. I need to get something in here. I think that is just like coinage, you know, 50p a go leaflet that used to go in there. Maybe put some artwork in there, but yeah, it's cool. I can't lift it out, guys, because it is quite a heavy cab, and I'm still obviously nursing a broken arm. But you can see the side art. Yeah, I'm well chuffed to have this in the collection. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to set the camera up and see. I haven't got to the end yet of the beginner's level, but I'll try my best. You know, something else, when you get a hold of a new cab, the height's always really quite important for me. Nintendo cabs are quite low down the control panel. You tend to be like this playing the game. It does give you a backache after a while, especially when you start getting quite good. And that's what, like I said, with the Video Master, it's the angle of the monitor, but this is just the perfect height for me. It really is. The screen is just at the right eye level, which I really do like. So let's set it up, guys. Let's give it a go. Right, last time I coined this up, I got an electric shock. I've got to check if it's earthed properly. Let's give it a go. So I'm not brilliant, guys. I like the fact you can choose the music as well, and I like all the tracks on here. It's really cool. Bit of turbo straight away around this bend. Just take it off. Just as I hit the curb. Few little snaky bends here. Right, let's hit that turbo. Surprisingly crashed there. Oh. holding on, he's holding on, he's getting his knee down. And I've got to be a bit quicker now. Concentration, guys. Oh, it's all over the place. He made it. Can we get around that bend? Yes. Get out of the way. Oh, he just made it round without hitting that tree. Is he going to make it? 4 seconds? Yes, just. What? Come on. What's happening? Why is he slowing down? I think the grips on the bars need adjusting slightly. Get round. 4 seconds left, not going to make it. No, he didn't make it. He didn't make it. That's about as far as I've got, guys. Until my arm's fully healed, I really don't feel like pushing it too much, but you know, I'm not in any pain with my arm at all now. It's a lot better, but I've still got to be a bit careful. But yeah, fucking hell, what a game. What a fantastic game. Loving it. So much replay value as well. You've got the expert course, your junior, senior. So once you've mastered beginners, you can still keep going back, beating your high score, and then move on to the other tracks. And of course, Martin is developing a Pi PCB that you can run in this, so I could play Hang On as well eventually, which would be absolutely amazing. Because these boards have got custom chips in them, so they can be quite, you know, they're quite unreliable. So it'd be nice to have that as a backup. Yeah, but there you go, guys. Super Hang On. How cool is that? Well, I didn't quite make it to the end, guys, but I've got plenty of time to improve on that game because that is not going anywhere. I'm loving that so much. That's it for this week. That's all I've got time for. Look out for my future videos, which will be Jackal. I'm going to do an arcade to console video on that. Also plans to bring back the Super Nintendo videos. Hopefully get my son back in the arcade at some point. Josh, you need to get your butt over here, play some games. That's it for this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.